Hey everyone, welcome to another one of my not pull-up tray stream slash podcast. I'm Samson Folk. It's not the Saturday stream. Why? Because there's going to be a game pretty early on Saturday. The semifinals for the Raptors, who are undefeated, 4-0 in Summer League, led by a glut of good players, of NBA rotation players, and most importantly, in their fourth game and his third game, led by Collin Murray-Boyles, who was absolutely sublime. He delivered on a lot of things. No draft pick is a win until way out ahead in the future. I'll tell you that much. However, last game was a pretty good delivery of a lot of the things that I really like about Collin Murray-Boyles' game. He was great. And the Raptors have been playing super fun basketball. They've turned over in 4 games the other team 117 times. Of course, they are tied, I believe, for the most fouls in this tournament of any team. They get a lot of steals. They struggle offensively. They bust their hump, man. And they play a very fun brand of basketball. Of course, it looks gnarly when, like Jamal Shed can't get a shot to go in. Jacoby Walter can't get a shot to go in. Like Colin Castleton is having a tough stretch, and you're like, well, what's going on? Where's the offense going to come from? In other games, it's really been A.J. Lawson. Elijah Martin was also really good last game as well, too. But more than anybody, driving the defense, driving the offense, was Collin Murray-Boyles. So I'll give you his stats. And by the way, this is a redemption stream because as far as in-depth analysis goes, the most popular work on CMB in the market was from Raptors Republic, was from myself. And the SEC, anytime you show a clip, if you want to show fans like, hey, this guy is good, this guy's a fantastic basketball player, let me show you the film. The SEC is like, my money, copyright claim, even though it's transformative in nature. You take 6 minutes of film, you talk about it for an hour. Oh, and you're stealing? Silly. Penny Hardaway 24 says, Samson, what's up? You deserve props on CMB. You sold me on him with your video pre-draft. I'm glad I was able to sell you on him, but no props yet. He's got a long career ahead of him, which I hope we all get to enjoy. But he looks great to start. He's delivering on a lot of that fun stuff. So his stats, about 24 minutes per game at Summer League, just shy of 13 points. He's 67% true shooting. It's pretty elite, especially when you consider that he's shooting 67% at the line and just under 29% from downtown. 4 offensive rebounds per game, because we're going to get into the film of his rebounds. Just that, he's able to snatch things like crazy, man. His hands are nuts. 2 assists, should probably be closer to 4 or 5 if guys were delivering, and 3 stocks per game, just under 3 turnovers. It should be a little bit better. If anybody cares about defensive rating, which you shouldn't, it's cannon fodder. I'm just being funny. But his defensive rating is like 90 right now. I think his net rating is plus 30. If I'm reading it all correctly. He's been fun, man. And before we get into the film, I'll say, unfortunately, lost my synergy access. I've been going through a gamut of trying to get better with it, but I haven't been able to clip everything I wanted to. Like there's a couple different things that when he's running like a DHO, his pickup point and hook pass, he's able to get the defense leaning to where they think the dribble handoff is going as the hub. He can really sell to the guy coming off of his body, and he can switch the play, send it to the other side of the floor. Jameson Battle got a wide open 3 and missed off of this very thing. He's been doing it. It's a couple times every single game. It's a great way to shift the whole defensive unit over and create gaps on the other side. I think this will be something that eventually becomes where he can skip past it. I think it'll be like he'll be used as a hub. He was obviously used as a screener more often last game, and it'll be something that he's able to bring to the floor. It's pretty fun. And then also just like I tried to cobble up as much film as I could, but I couldn't get like every deflection. I was mostly getting like the actual steals, It's but for every steal there's like 7 deflections. His hands get in everything, on everything. Phoenix Plays E says hashtag pirate stats, yeah. And do I view him in the light of a Bam Adebayo mold? No, I don't really view him like Bam at all, quite frankly. But I think he can have like a lot of impact, certainly. park him at the top of his zone. I don't know if I'd want him to be like at the top of his zone, because if you're having him out top, I think you want him providing ball pressure and putting his body on somebody. And if you're having him off ball, you don't want him near the top. You want him either in a dig position or you want him rotating from the bottom. I think that's kind of stuff I'm looking for. Also, his EPM, I don't know if they're doing EPM for Summer League. Cody Wiles, who has a tremendous video on Ulrich Shamshay. If anybody wants to go back and watch it, his rookie year basically with the 905. After this, of course, yeah, you got to watch the podcast. Says he's been such a good rebounder, especially offensively. Love the grab and go potential too. Yeah, I mean, CMB, he has a perfectly suitable handle for the type of basketball he wants to play. He can really grab the ball and get going, and he can create and spray the ball to any part of the court, and he can also pressure the rim. Leslie says, your guy, smiley face. He is. The video is out there of me reacting to them drafting him. I was over the moon. He was a top 5 talent in the draft for me. And man, yeah. Penny Hardaway says, Samson, can you talk about his crazy instincts on both ends? Yes. That's the title of the podcast is called Collin Murray-Boyles is Ahead of the Game, because he is it's almost like that preternatural ability to read the floor, where it's shifting, how guys want to get, where they want to get the ball, where they want to drive the ball, and meet them in those places. He pops into spots. So this is as good a time as any to get into the film. For audio podcast listeners, my apologies that this isn't directed, exactly towards you with the video component, but I do love doing the film rooms, and yeah, I just hope you enjoy listening. Even if it's not perfectly descriptive. I didn't do the College of Sports Media play-by-play analysis. I gotta get Paul Jones on here for one of these. He would be so good at that. That would be a fun little combination. Just see, yeah, that would be fun. Okay, let's talk, man. Let's talk CMB. And Nesta also says, given he is coming back from time off due to injury, his game has been a delight to watch. Yeah, I brought this up on the podcast I did with Trey, where I said, his adductor, his slide is actually one of the most impactful parts of his game, his defensive slide. He's such a quick mover. We'll see him set the edge quite a few times and step out on guys in the film room, and the adductor is going to impact that. So the healthier he gets, the more explosive he's actually going to look. I thought actually early on in Summer League, he looked a little bit slower than I expected, and it's coming back from an adductor strain. So let's get into it. Film, we're going live. And so we'll just start really early, right? So to set the scene for this, he is doing a tremendous job and always has done a tremendous job going back to South Carolina. I saw somebody call him the Carolina Reaper, by the way. That's a great nickname. Carolina Reaper is a really good nickname. SP says his movement is pretty effortless. Yes, we're going to see that. He does one of the package of plays I talked about most in the pre-draft process was him blowing up Jeremiah Fears in the pick and roll. Why? Because it's a name people recognize. It's an NBA prospect, and it's really good defensive tape. I'm not going to show any of it. I wish I could for reference, but the SEC will steal everything. So we're gonna not talk about that. But you can see in the film here, he's going to step out on guys and provide that pressure. And his hands get into everywhere, man. His hands are probably the most outstanding feature of his game. Is just, and oh my God, yeah, he's able to jump into spaces and get his hands to places that basically players are not expecting him to all of a sudden like apparate into these spaces. And it is because he is such an impressive, predictive defender. And it's something that, is going to be apparent over the course of his whole NBA career. His lower half, his body, his feet are so good and so smooth that he's able to slide with guys and stay poised and calm and not give them angles to drive. And his hands are so active, disruptive, and his arms are so long that he's able to keep the play out in front and then stay and poke and prod at guys. And obviously he has these big effective hands, and he disrupts a million plays a minute, and he might lead the league in deflections at some point in his career, and he just does a hell of a job. So going back to the start of this, basically stepping out on guys, keeping the ball out in front, using your hands to disrupt everything, and being pretty great at being predictive of where players want to take the play next, all those things amass into him being a ginormous, the term that people use on Twitter and honestly in some scout circles and some team circles is event creator. There are some guys who they're like a contained defender. Pascal Siakam, for example, and actually we can use this as a really good example here to focus in. Pascal Siakam is a contained defender, especially at this point in his career. And he does a fantastic job of keeping the ball out in front. We saw him hold on to J-Dub and Shea in the finals. He was probably like an all defense level performance his last 2 rounds. Earlier in his career, he was a little bit more of an event creator because his weak side rim protection was so explosive. His athleticism changed over time. But something that the Pacers do and the Thunder do is exactly what the Raptors want to do here is provide pressure. And so I talked about this focusing on CMB and Jonathan Mobo is that what the Raptors want to do is they want to throw a lot of pressure with their guards. And what teams naturally do is they want to give their guards a break from 94 feet of pressure. So they'll move the bring up ball handler responsibilities onto a forward. And with Mobo, who wasn't in this game, and the Raptors definitely felt his absence, with Mobo and CMB, that pickup point, you don't have to surrender anything. They're perfectly capable of sliding and chopping feet with any forward or wing who's going to bring the ball up. I think CMB will be able to do this against like high quality wings in the NBA. Maybe not immediately, but it'll be something that he can bring and he'll be able to unleash this 94 feet of pressure. And you can see here, it's not 94 feet, more like 75, but he's going to meet the ball early. And not all bigs, and especially since he's going to be playing like the 4 or maybe a jumbo 3, small 5, this kind of stuff, not all bigs have the capability to do this. There's a reason why, Pascal was such like a skeleton key for the Pacers defense because, that ability to step in and step around. And you can see here too, like the big thing about CMB, as we talked about before, stepping out, keeping the ball in front, poking, prodding, bothering guys. There's danger to him. And I'm going to keep referencing, Raptors players, one, because, the audience knows who they are, of course, and knows what their game looks like, but also because they've had a glut of really good defenders. So basically, stepping out, bothering dribbles, poking guys. This is something that OG Anunoby does a really good job of. And you can also see CMB, it's not just at the point of attack where he's dangerous, but he slides effortlessly between plays, shifting. Now I'm a goalie in the lane, shifting. I'm a goalie in the lane again, hands on the ball, being able for that contact reaction to just blast guys and blow them open. He's so impressive meeting the ball and also presenting himself so that he disrupts the passing lane, right? Like this is one of the most impressive aspects of his defense, in my opinion, is that his gambles are a little bit more controlled. You know what I mean? He steps into the lane, but he also is such a quick jumper and he has such quick active hands and arms that if you try and pass out of it over the top of him, he'll go and meet the ball up and he'll steal it regardless or deflect it. He's just an incredible disruptor on the defensive end. And does he foul a lot? Yes. Is he going to foul a lot in his rookie season? Yes, I'm almost certain of it. But it's been a really impressive run. And so I'll use this play as an example of like this stuff, the weak side rim protector stuff. I'm not exactly I said this too in all of my work covering his game, but I don't think it's going to be a huge part of his defense at the NBA level. Like meeting guys at the rim is the audio glitching? I hope not. Meeting guys at the rim, I think, is going to be something he's going to use verticality for. But as far as like blocks and these big sweeping rotations, I don't think it's going to be him going up and pounding the glass and like sweeping it and doing all that kind of stuff. That's not my expectation. Now we're going to have a clip of him doing it, which he can do sometimes. But as SP right here says, he can prevent guys from getting up. Exactly. He can meet them earlier, force pickup points, and use his big body to make guys change the lane that they want. He's a guardrail. If he's in the lane, he's going to force you to pick up. And especially if you're playing paired with a guy like in these games, Ulrich Shamshay or Jonathan Mobo, they're going to have opportunities to jump in and swat balls behind him. Now, Scotty Barnes plays on the team that CMB is joining. Scotty loves to hunt those weak side blocks. Phoenix Plays Z says here, deterrence, funnel. Exactly. CMB steps in the lane. He's a goalie. I used to do this. Now, this is just funny. We played a 1-3-1 in high school. I ran the bottom of the 1-3-1. Our center played in the middle of the three. He was 6'7". My job was to cover the court, force pickup points so he could come over and whap. And also, we played a 1-3-1 because we didn't play that good at basketball. You can't really get away with a 1-3-1. But the principle here is CMB is meant to cover ground, force pickup points, and funnel to big defensive shot blockers. Whether it's Jakob, whether it's Scotty, whether it's Mobo, whether it's Shamshay, whatever it is, CMB is going to do all that kind of stuff. And he also has, of course, not just showing up as a goalie in the lane, but showing up as a really good defender, stepping out on guys, an incredible defensive playmaker. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. All right, we'll keep running it. Comes over, pop, smacks it off the glass. Get a set. Look at this. Look at this production. I have two of them for you. And then he comes down on the other end, puts down the dunk. And like we'll get into his rebounding. He's able to jettison himself out. And he's such a quick jumper. This one too. Quick jumper. Big arms, jumping out on guys, getting blocks. Here, setting the edge. This is exactly the type of play that I like to point out with Jeremiah Fears. Basically what CMB does, because he's a special defender and a special mover, especially at his size, and since he carries like a bit more weight, it's really hard to hit him and angle him hard. So what he does is he's able to set the edge, man. He's able to set the edge wonderfully. And we'll see here. Sets the edge. And since Jamal has that really impressive pursuit, let's say, it's harder to split. And honestly, Jamal is here in this play, but we're going to see over time as CMB develops as a pro that he doesn't even need that heavy pursuit from the guard. He's just going to be a guy who doesn't allow guys to get middle. He's going to be able to set the edge repeatedly. The stream's bugging out. My apologies. But we're going to let it play. I think it'll sort itself out. Just that stuff I always found extremely impressive. That's one of the most important things when it comes to NBA defense is helping out your teammates, playing goalie in the lane, setting the edge, making sure that the level of the screen defense is really strong. We saw that show up repeatedly in the NBA Finals. It's going to keep showing up in high-level NBA basketball. That's what we want to see. So that's the defensive film, which is a hoot and a holler and an absolute blast. And I think a lot of the stuff that he's putting on tape here is going to show up at the NBA level. Obviously, in totality in the future, yes, but also is going to be something that we see pretty soon. Now, I don't know, the thing here is it'll show up with Shamshay too, is that in Summer League, guards are smaller, bigs are less talented, wings are less talented. So if you're a physically imposing player, it's going to be a little bit easier typically to step in and impose your will. And players will be less likely to punish you for being overzealous and all that kind of stuff. And also, you get to foul basically as much as you want. All these things are working in CMB's favor. And his response has to be a little bit more finesse, a high-level understanding of what he wants to do, and probably a lot of defensive film. That kind of stuff has to show up big time. Now, everybody in chat, if you can let me know if the stream is doing any better at this point, please let me know, because I'm just doing it on my end. I don't know exactly how it's coming across. If it's better, just say yeah, please and thank you. So he is going to be put in positions defensively where he's going to disrupt things and do a fantastic job. He's going to foul a lot, but I think his route to effective defending immediately is going to be pretty strong. And then down the line, I think that he's going to be probably like he could be an all defense levels player and selection a couple times. He's just so disruptive. And honestly, voters have a bias towards defensive playmaking, certainly. And that'll show up for him. Did I talk about Edward Rogers? Maybe that's why the Wi-Fi is kicked. He's coming after me again, man. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Actually, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna check my internet speed. It should be good, man. It should be good. Let's see. Internet speed test. It says 560. The download, and the upload is probably really fast too. So that means that this is like a StreamYard thing. Blast StreamYard. You've confounded me once again. Yeah, upload is like 400, almost 500. Okay, so obviously it's not the internet. It could just be a StreamYard thing. For audio listeners who aren't, anyway, little audio pops that happen here or there. Okay. Well, anyway, everybody, we'll get into it. The offense. So the offensive stuff is really, it's not as exciting, probably, because shake my mic. A loose mic connection. I don't know. Anyway, because I can't hear anything on the other side. Crunchy audio. Oh my days, man. This is the worst. I'm just fiddling with things now. Oh my days. Anyway. Okay, so, and it's, I don't know, it's coming through clear. It's a mic thing. Oh Lord. Anyway, okay. Everyone. His offense is not, wait, it's better. Oh, anyway, okay. This will take some chopping up in post, probably. All right. Anyway, it's fixed. Was it like this the whole time? Unbelievable. All right. Okay, everybody. So his offense, the mic's been at 1 star the whole podcast. Wait, 1 sec. I'm going to run it back from the start. Forgive me. Just give me a moment. We'll get in the offense really soon. I'm going to play this back on YouTube and see what I hear. Basically, players are not expecting him to step around. He says here, when it comes to NBA. Now, everybody in chat, if you can let internet speed test, StreamYard thing. Oh, I hear the pops. Blast. Okay. Well, anyway, everybody. Okay, so it was good for... I didn't drop the mic or spill drink on it, man. Okay, I'm so sorry, everybody. Thank you for being so patient with me. Okay. It's, okay, we can focus on podcasting now. All right. Focusing on the offense, which is not as exciting, obviously. It's not super impressive. However, it's functional. It has great utility, and it is diverse. We haven't seen the most impressive aspects of his offense yet because we're looking at, honestly, a Raptors team that wants to run their offense largely through their guards, and they want their bigs to be garbage men, mostly, to subsist off of all of the tertiary stuff, to be able to make plays off ball and cut in an offensive rebound and screen and roll. And the Raptors, like, their offense is not good. That much is clear. They have a bad summer league offense. Their defense is jump-starting a ton of transition opportunities, and also they defend like hell. So that's why they're winning. they are currently limited by, like, Jamal is creating like 60% of his possessions are resulting in either a floater for himself or a floater for his big. Now, it's nice that he's able to get the ball there and create those looks, but you want obviously a more dynamic creator that guys can work off of. And that's not CMB, not as currently constructed. But that there's been a couple times that CMB has gotten opportunities to like drive and get to the line. But for the most part, we're looking at a guy that, quite frankly, is just subsisting on all the tertiary stuff and doing a hell of a job with it. So we're going to focus on some of the finer points of what he's able to do. And here we go. And also the offensive rebounding. He's so quick to the ball and his arms get everywhere. And he's like, he had a lot of turnovers in the first game, but he's pretty poised as a decision maker as well. And the 3-point shooting is 2 of 7 from downtown now over the course of summer league. Look at, man, Shamshay on this play is just absolutely sterling. And then just bam, pops it. Unbelievable. This too, I like this a lot because he brings his hand to the ball to get Duran to jump first, and then he's able to lob it over the top. Excellent ability to read the floor. It's not the toughest pass, but it's a good one, and there's small things that are good within it. Driving the ball, getting to the right hand. Nice to see that there. This one too, great step-up screen, stepping into the lane through contact, just like getting around contests, getting to the spot where he can bank it in. This too, I love. This is my favorite rebound he had. He puts that back up in, but like, look at here. So he has him under the rim. They're battling. He doesn't need 2 hands. Just like go up. He's such a quick jumper, such long arms, and just snatch it right back up. So impressive, so physical. And this too, just a great little pass in transition to Shamshay. Shamshay able to finish it. And this too, like, it's what I said, and I can't show. There's a couple clips from South Carolina where he's making this exact same play, and it's why in the scout I said that it would behoove the Raptors to, if they wanted him to take 3-point shots, to have him rolling to his right because it's a little bit better for his shot mechanics, just the way he gathers the ball. It was nice to see that one drop in there. And look at this too, just waiting. And you can even like look at the small stuff on a play like this too. The drive, he's going to semicircle cut. His guy's going to come to the ball. He found his open spot, catch, outweight the defense, get up there for a bucket. This one too, basically a slip screen. As soon as Jamal brings 2 guys to the ball and the tag man in the corner isn't going to stick on him, guess what? You have a free lane to go pursue the offensive rebound, and he's so good at going and finding the ball and getting it in there. This too, just waiting perfectly. Great pass from Chucky Hepburn. We love, like, man, these step-up screens. He can crunch bones. I love watching him on offense. I think he's just incredibly fun there. And we can just run it back, keep talking about this, but we do have to see this, honestly. We do have to see this against more NBA players. That much is clear. But on top of that, Summer League is never about proving that you're a player. It's about proving that, you're not a player. And CMB has brought a lot of the stuff that was expected. And I think, honestly, the conversations around him did him a major disservice, honestly. And because a lot of people, they just discussed him as if like there's one facet to his game and it's the lack of 3-point shooting. And how does that fit with the Raptors? In my coverage, I was like, his offensive game is actually extremely expansive. He can do so many things. And when I was, pitching it, even in the podcast we did with, Hello and Welcome from Vegas, what I talked about, I was like, well, CMB can score like 11 points per game, like why not? Because he's able to score in all the in-between aspects of the game, and he can garbage man to 8 points a game easily, and he'll have 1 or 2 plays a game where he does something with the basketball at least. And some games he'll probably disappear a little bit, but some games he'll be more prominently featured and he might pop off. It's just, he's a great basketball player. He can finish at the rim. He's going to take shots. He's probably not going to shoot very well, but he's going to try and let his touch be part of it. And he's going to try and make plays. And that's the offensive side. But the way he was discussed was like, this guy is just a guy who can't shoot. Even though he was a very, very impressive offensive basketball player at South Carolina. He was very impressive there. I had a wonderful time watching him on offense. And as far as like how he's going to project at the NBA level, I think he's going to beat bigs off the dribble. I think he's going to eat smalls when they get switched onto him. And it's not just like, oh, I have a small on me, give me the ball, I have to get a post up. It's like, no, if they stick him in the corner and the small is on him, he's going to corner crash and put that guard under the rim. He's going to go grab the rebound. He's going to get fouled. He's going to go to the line. He's going to get a putback, whatever. He's going to screen and roll. He's going to grab and go. He's going to finish in transition. He's going to help play make at the front end of defense and get runouts. All this stuff, I mean, he's a hooper, man. He can play. He can definitely play. Trace124 says Raptors love finding mismatches. He's going to eat all day in the regular season. They loved it more when it was the Nick Nurse Raptors, for sure. They did a decent job of it in pockets with Scottie and Pascal when they were together under Darko. But honestly, they haven't gone to mismatches very often the last year of basketball. But I think it's because they didn't have the personnel to punish mismatches. And that is certainly true. They were the worst team in the NBA at creating on ball. They have a bunch of struggles there. And it's no wonder that they want to play a version of basketball with their struggles offensively, that they're like, hey, let's get defensive stops and let's run out, baby. Let's get after it. And that's going to help a lot of the guys. And they're a young team. They're a team that's going to play a little bit deeper. And they're going to hope, quite frankly, that their defensive intensity is going to be something that helps be the rising tide that lifts their offensive boats. And I think it's a decent belief. And on top of that, too, I mean, they have the Brandon Ingram of it all, which could, why wouldn't that make things better? Why wouldn't that help out? It is something that I'm thinking about, quite frankly. Brandon Ingram, he could be an all-star level player next year. I'd love to see it. And if Ingram is really good and Scottie's really good and CMB has a good rookie season, I think the wing grouping is going to be one of the most fun to watch in all of the NBA. And despite their limitations, I think they're going to be able to do, quite a few interesting things. And also, oh yeah, I forgot to show the first play, and I didn't get, because I didn't know where to grab it from. But the first play of the game was they tried to short the pick and roll for CMB. And basically what that is I can show it here. That's on screen. Basically what it is that Colin Castleton was around, like, not exactly the dunker spot, closer to the free throw line. They run a screening action between Jamal Shed and Collin Murray-Boyles, and Castleton flashes up to the three-point line because the level of the defense pressed Shed. That means that the level of the defense stepped higher, and that means that if you have a quick reverse to Colin Castleton, he can make that quick play down, that high-low feed to a now-cutting Collin Murray-Boyles. And the Raptors, they short the pick and roll all the time. I've talked about this in many different places, but they typically do it with Jakob Poeltl, who's a better big man passer than Castleton. And a lot of times they'll do it with a guy like Ochai Agbaji, who will set a small screen for a guy like RJ, who has that very quick left-handed hook wrap pass to the above the break, and then they'll play the ball into Ochai, who will get a layup or a dunk, maybe even a lob a couple times, right? They were trying to target that kind of stuff with Collin Murray-Boyles, and I liked that. I really did. That was their same size screening stuff has to be one of their biggest advantages as far as what the Raptors are able to do. It was when they had Pascal and Scottie. It was when, they're running like Ochai and RJ. Getting guys who feel comfortable like switching and using that switch as an opportunity to seal your man behind you and then cut to the basket. And it's an offense that promotes ball movement and let the ball do the work. there's room for CMB to score points. And the creation stuff, we really haven't seen much of it. And I don't expect to see much of it in Summer League. It's going to be very sparing. I don't expect to see much of it as far as like this upcoming season. The Raptors are probably going to give him a decently muted role on offense, and they're going to ask him like, hey, get after it in all the other places. Impress us as an offensive rebounder. Impress us as a defender, changing floors and scoring in transition. Impress us as a screen and roll guy. Get another summer of work in with your handle. Keep improving your jumper. Maybe you become a demon who drives bigs to the rim all the time. And how do we get you in those positions? By putting you in pick and pop opportunities. How do we put you in pick and pop opportunities? If your jumper becomes better. He could become an extremely dangerous player, truly one of the best like playmaking forwards in the NBA or dynamic forwards in the NBA because of his driving and his ability to pass off the dribble. If he runs pick and pop, pump and go, he has to become a good shooter to reward this stuff. The jury is very much out, but he does have, I think, relatively elite touch. And a lot of times I like to bet on touch, that guys with elite touch will figure out how to get the ball in the basket at a high enough level. That's my fingers crossed on that one. He's awesome. Collin Murray-Boyles, loved that game against the Warriors. Looking forward to watching him more. That's probably the end of the podcast. I got to sort out this mic thing. Apparently, hungover from Vegas, I saw someone say. Absolutely. Make sure to like the video before you get out here. It'll help other people see it, and hopefully they watch. And, you know, if they want to presumably learn something about CMB and how the Raptors play and all this kind of stuff, that'll be good and fun. I appreciate the support. You can comment and subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps. Last question I'll answer. Is a MOBO CMB front court feasible? It certainly is at Summer League. At the NBA level, the next couple years, I would be pretty surprised if it's feasible. The defense would be good. The defense would be impressive, but we're probably going to see it in some sort of transitional lineup. I don't expect it to be super good. It's going to be very compelling defensively, of course. Offensively, it could get pretty hairy pretty quickly. And a good way to hurt your defense is by not scoring on offense and constantly having to pick up in pseudo transition, not making the other team take the ball out of the basket, and having to constantly cross match, which MOBO and CMB are definitely better equipped to do, but it's not the ideal way you want to play basketball. I would be surprised if CMB MOBO is like a good front court pairing. Although I would be in love if they were, because they'd be playing awesome Bash Bros, Smash Bros basketball if that were the case. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. I appreciate you all very much. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. Should be an absolute blast. All right, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. It helps out the channel. I appreciate you all. Collin Murray-Boyles, excellent selection. That's my guy. Thank you for tuning in, whether you got into this in the morning or at night. Have a blessed day, and goodbye.